So let's take a look at how you would trade football's under 2.5 goals market on Betfair. It's probably the most simple football market to trade on, but it can also be the most frustrating. And if you have traded on this market before, then you will know what I mean. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 best ways to trade under 2.5 goals on Betfair. This is under 2.5 goals, by the way, not over. That's a whole different video. But yeah, I'm going to show you the 3 best ways to trade the under 2.5 goals market. I'm going to look at some possible exit strategies that you can employ when this strategy goes wrong. That is where a lot of people start to stumble. So we're going to look at some possible exit strategies. I'm going to be giving you the biggest newbie mistake to avoid when you're trading under 2.5 goals. Then right at the end of this video, I'm going to reveal the secret to trading under 2.5 goals profitably. So anyway, let's get into it. So what makes the under 2.5 goals market such a simple market to trade is because of the market behavior. The price direction on this market is very predictable. Basically, when the match kicks off, the price on under 2.5 goals is always going to decrease. So it's always going to be going down. Let's just bring up the Betfair chart. This is Chavez against Sporting Lisbon. It's 0-0, 27 minutes in. Now look at this chart here. And you can see this, the price on under 2.5 goals was around 1.90-ish at kickoff. This is the kickoff point here. And then the match went in play, and then it just goes down. It just goes down and down and down and down as long as there is no goal scored. Of course, if a goal is scored, that is going to shoot upwards, and there's going to be a new price range that is going to be trading at. But the simple thing about under 2.5 goals is that if there are no goals being scored, this is going to keep moving downwards, which is, like I said, is what makes it so simple to trade in that aspect. So let's just give you a quick demo of how you would trade the under 2.5 goals. The main way a lot of people do trade this market is a back before kickoff with a lay in play. Like it's a back to lay tray, and you're going to be greening up your position. So this match is about to kick off. You would just simply back under 2.5 goals at that price, 1.93. And then obviously, as you've seen with the market behavior, that price is going to be dropping once the match goes in play. And as long as there's no goals, then you can cash in for a profit. You can cash out for a profit. So it's pretty simple in that aspect. You just a quick tip is that you would definitely want to be backing right before kickoff. You don't really want to get on too early, because then that price might go higher. So if we back this 1.93, say this morning, and then the price climbed to 2 or 2.10, then we're already against ourselves. We're trying to catch up with the market. So just a quick tip is that if you are going to trade in this way, you do want to get in right before kickoff. But this is a match between Alaves and Betis, and obviously we're just going to show you how we can get out with a profit if there is no goal. So we've played 16 minutes in this match between Alaves and Betis, and it's still 0-0, which is exactly what we want. So let's just close this trade out here by laying. So I'm going to lay at 1.62. We backed £100 at the start of the match, if you remember, 1.93, and I'm going to lay here at 1.62. I just got matched. So as you can see, what that does now is that leaves us with potential £31 of free bet there. We don't have any risk on over 2.5 goals, and we could leave that. We could just let this play out and maybe take £31 if it does finish unders, or you could green it up and take an equal profit on both outcomes like we're going to do here. And that's generally how most people trade under 2.5 goals market. You are just backing at kickoff and waiting for a particular point in the match where you can trade out. Now, of course, it's not as simple as that. Everyone has their different exit points. You might want to get out after 5 minutes. Some people want to get out after 10 minutes. Here we started to get out around 15 minutes. Some people wait 25 minutes. Some people say half time. Hey, there's so many ways to skin the cat, as they say. So here we are though. Anyway, this is the main way to trade it. You're basically backing to lay and then probably cashing out as most people would do. So that's the main way of doing it. Let's have another look at another way of trading the under 2.5 goals market. And another way of trading under 2.5 goals that a lot of traders like to do is say profile a match before kickoff as being a match which might be quite tight, and then if there is an early goal, jump on under 2.5 goals at the inflated odds and then ride the odds down from there. So there's been an early goal in this match between Sporting Lisbon and Plzen, if I pronounced that correctly. I haven't profiled this. This is obviously just for demonstration purposes, but I'm just going to show you here. If we bring up the chart and just bring that into shot, the price just before this goal, which came in the 5th minute, it was around 2.10 on under 2.5 goals. And after the goal, the market is reformed, and you can see we got matched at odds of 4.1 with our £100 stake. So what you would do in this situation is it would be the same principle as you would back this price and then let the odds ride down to your profit target. So we're in the 7th minute. Let's leave this in the market for 5 minutes at least and see where it takes us. So 5 minutes on from that, and it is still 1-0. There hasn't been a goal. And just put an order in to now lay under 2.5 goals at 3.45. And you can see the market is eating up that order as we speak. So you can see how quickly, though, the odds fell. Let's just have a look at the chart. How quickly the odds do fall immediately after a goal. We were in at 4. They've gone down to pretty much 3.5, and that's all happened within the space of 5 minutes. So now we are clean on this one. We're clean and green. I've got £63 sitting on under 2.5 goals. I've got 0 sitting on over 2.5 goals, but I've got a decent amount of money there to play with in the rest of the match. And obviously, if you've profiled this game as being a game which you do feel is going to finish under 2.5 goals, then you could just leave that there as a free bet, of £63 on that outcome there. And if you didn't, you could just cash out and take £18 either way. But there is another way of trading under 2.5 goals, that is getting in right after an early goal and riding those odds down. So something you can do if you want to trade under 2.5 goals as well is to scalp the market. So this is Arsenal against AC Milan, and we're going to try and scalp the market for 1 tick here. I just did a quick scalp just before we started recording, but we went in with £100 at 2.16, so I'm going to try and get a lay matched at 2.14, and hopefully we can just scalp a quick tick and get in and out of the market very quickly. So basically, one thing I would say if you are going to scalp the market is don't do what I'm doing right here. Do not use the Betfair interface for scalping. You're making life very, very hard for yourself. But as you can see there, we got matched, so we've got some profit there. We've got £4 sitting on under 2.5 goals. But yeah, I do want to say, if you are scalping the market, do not do it on a Betfair interface. You do want to use software, because you want to be able to get in and out very quickly, and it's very fiddly to do it on the Betfair interface. I would also say if you do want to scalp under 2.5 goals, you do want to use very up-to-date pictures. I'm actually watching this on an iPad, so it's a little bit behind what would even be live on the TV, and even on the TV can be quite delayed sometimes as well. So, I mean, if you are going to scalp, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But you saw there how quickly we got in and out of the market. I had a scalp earlier on, which made me £2, and then you saw the scalp I just did. So now we've got £4 sitting on under 2.5 goals. We were in and out of the market within a couple of minutes. So that is one way of trading. I mean, the beauty of scalping the under 2.5 goals market, as you saw earlier on, is that we know the direction. We know the direction that it's going to go in, so it's going to go lower. So it's quite simple in that way. It takes away the guesswork. As many will know, when it comes to scalping, is that you're trying to guess which way the market is going to go. But at least we know in this way it's going to be going downwards. So scalping is one way of trading the under 2.5 goals market. It is quite a bit of a skill to master, and you do want to be using software. So that is another way of trading under 2.5 goals. It's Arsenal against AC Milan, and there was a quick example of scalping the market. So obviously you've seen what can happen when this strategy goes right, but of course the big problem is if a goal goes in when you're exposed in the market. That is going to cause the price on under 2.5 goals to rise significantly, and you're going to immediately be in a negative situation. So it's all great when it goes well, but of course you need to be prepared for this scenario. And this is why a lot of people find it very frustrating when they're trading under 2.5 goals. All can be going well, but then a goal seems to come from nowhere, as they always do. And all of a sudden you're staring at a bit of a dilemma. So here is what you could do to exit out of the market when it does go wrong. Now, what I would firstly always say is when a goal goes in, wait for the market to settle. This is a German match. The liquidity on this is not anything amazing. So it's going to take a little bit of a while to kind of settle down, but always wait for the market to settle. In the beginning, there's going to be a bit of a higher price on offer. Let it go down. So now you can see, I think that's pretty much settled now. So we could cash out for a loss. These are our options here. Option number one is to immediately now cash out for a loss and take a £27 hit guaranteed no matter what. Okay. Option number two is to just let it ride down. Do nothing. I mean, if you really believe this match is going to finish under 2.5 goals, that could be an option. You could let it ride down and say we could lay again at 2.4. If we could get those odds down to 2.4, which was our entry point, we could get out for a scratch trade. We could break even on this if it gets down to 2.4, and we're about 19 minutes in, so I'd say it probably needs to get to half time with no further goals for that to happen. I mean, that is one option. You could let it ride down. You could, as you saw early on, you could back again. Now you could back again now, double your stake up with £100 back at 3.15, and then maybe get out at 2.40, and we'd lay that off, and we'd have our free bet at £75. I mean, that's very, very aggressive. Not sure I would totally like to go for that, because it is a little bit like chasing losses. But of course, if you're someone who's an aggressive trader, that is another exit option for you. Or another option is to gamble. So what you could do is to lay under 2.5 goals. Remember, we backed it and lay them at 3.15 and leave minus 75 on under 2.5 goals. But if this match does finish overs, then we're going to break even. So it's a bit of a gamble. It is a bit of a gamble. But right now, probably the best option is just to close this for a £24 equal loss. It's probably the best option. But of course, you have all your exit strategies there just presented to you, and it's down to you to decide how best you would do it. But let's look at what I would say is the biggest mistake newbies can make when they're trading under 2.5 goals. And it's that right there. It's using this on obvious low scoring matches. Now this might sound a bit strange. You might think I've lost it here, but if you believe a match is going to finish under 2.5 goals and everything is pointing towards that, then it's probably not a good match to trade under 2.5 goals. You know, all right. So the biggest problem this strategy can face is a goal going in early. So obviously it does make sense to try and look for matches that are going to be under 2.5 goals. Obviously, the less goals that are expected, the less chance of a goal catching you when you're exposed in the market, right? But the problem with this is that the markets know that the match is expected to be low scoring. And so it's probably already factored into the price. So the price on under 2.5 goals is probably going to be pretty low to begin with. And I see a lot of newbies trying to use this sort of method when the price on under 2.5 goals is like 1.60 or 1.50. You get some matches in the big tournaments like the World Cup where under 2.5 goals starts at like 1.40. And it's pretty obvious that there isn't going to be that many goals in that game, but the markets know that too. So while the price is still going to move downwards, it's going to move down at a very slow pace. So that means you have to be exposed for longer to make any sort of worthwhile profit. And the longer you're exposed, the more likely you are to get caught out. What you really want is those matches where you can kind of just get in and out, get the profit, and move on. So the big secret to profitable trading on the under 2.5 goals market is to go against the markets. Yep, go against the markets. The best time to trade under 2.5 goals is actually when every man and his dog is expecting goals. And I'm sure you know the types of matches already, but basically you need the market to be expecting goals before kickoff, since then if the match does start just even a little bit slow or just at an average pace, those odds are going to drop, but they're going to drop much faster than usual. And that means you have enough time to get in and out of the market, get your profit target much quicker than normal. It's obvious that the less time you're exposed, the less time to get caught out by a goal. So go against the markets. The best time to trade under 2.5 goals is when everyone's expecting the match to finish over 2.5 goals. Even you. And this is precisely the sort of market I am talking about. When I talk about a market, or a match anyway, where everyone's expecting goals. This is Stoke against Manchester City. The price on over 2.5 goals is 1.57, heavily odds on. Price on under 2.5 goals is 2.74, which is a very high price for under 2.5 goals. The average price on under 2.5 goals is 1.90. So it's safe to say the markets are expecting goals, and that's mainly because Manchester City are expected to win this match very, very comfortably. Now, it might seem counterintuitive, because if we're trading the under 2.5 goals market, surely we want the match to finish unders. But as football traders, it doesn't really matter. I just want to know that I can probably get in and out of the market very quickly and make the profit that I'm looking for. If this match does finish under 2.5 goals, I mean, hey, we'd probably make this trade a little bit easier. Of course, if it finishes 0-0, we'll make it even better. But it doesn't really matter, because what we're just looking for is this sort of situation where everyone's expecting goals. Everyone, it seems. The market is very heavily favored in favor of goals before kickoff. But once the match kicks off, and it's just about to, if the match doesn't quite start with a fast pace, then those odds can drop pretty quickly. And that is what we're looking for. We're going against the market, against the grain, and we're trying to get in and out with a profit. And of course, we backed here at 2.76. Of course, you're going to set your profit target. It all depends on you and the way you want to trade the market. With this one, we're going to try and get out with 10%. But hey, it could be 20%, it could be 50%. That, my friend, is up to you when it comes to trading the under 2.5 goals market. But just for a quick example, this is precisely the type of matchup I'm looking for. I'm looking for a match where everyone's expecting goals, but we're going to go against the grain and try and get out with a profit, hopefully before a goal comes. But let's see what happens when this match goes in play. So this one is we're 6 minutes in, and I went for a profit target of 10% on this one, and it should be taken, well, pretty much any second now. And you could just see in this one, the odds of, there it is, it's taken. So the odds fell pretty quickly within 6 minutes. And it wasn't even, it was still a pretty fast start, actually, to be fair. Manchester City had a pretty good attempt in the early stages, but, and you can kind of see that there with that little jerk up there in the odds. But anyway, we were in and out of the market very quickly there within 6 minutes, because the odds do fall a lot quicker when the early goal doesn't arrive for some reason. It's always done this, and hopefully it will continue to do that for a long time onwards. Of course, it is not as simple as that. There is a lot more to trade in the under 2.5 goals market than has been displayed today. But it's just a quick example, some tips on how you can trade the under 2.5 goals market profitably. And so as you can see, there is lots to take in regarding trading the under 2.5 goals market on Betfair. It does seem like a simple market to trade at first, but it's not so simple in practice, that is for sure. But one of my favorite ways of trading under 2.5 goals has to be using the snowball strategy that I teach within Ultimate Football Trading. The way we've designed that strategy exactly, it allows you to absorb the losses when a goal does go in, but then at the same time, we're still maximizing the profits when the match starts slow. It really is quite clever in that aspect. And a lot of my members have been very, very pleased with it. So do check the links in the description of this video for information on how you can get access to the course, how you can learn that strategy, and multiple other methods that are available in there too. It really is worth having a look at, that is for sure. So that is just about it. And remember, if you did enjoy this video and you want us to keep making videos like this, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. As I just mentioned, check the links in the description of this video for all the resources and important information.